Afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Glass Academy Webinars 2026 in association with Ethos Empowers. As part of this year's theme, Envisioning India 2047, Building the Next Century of Progress, we continue to explore how architecture and design are evolving alongside changing lifestyles and user expectations. Today, interiors are expected to do so much more than just looking aesthetically pleasing. Across homes, hospitality, retail, and workplaces, spaces are now being designed to enhance comfort, flexibility, openness, functionality, and overall user experience. Contemporary interior design is increasingly focused on creating environments that feel connected, adaptive, and experiential. This shift has also influenced the way materials are used within interiors. Transparency, natural light, visual continuity, and spatial fluidity have become important aspects of modern design, making glass a key material in shaping contemporary interior experiences. And it is this intersection that today's session, Designing Contemporary Interiors, where aesthetics meets performance through glass, aims to explore. To lead us through this conversation, we are delighted to welcome architect Samir Balvally. Architect Samir Balvally is the co-founder and principal architect of Studio Osmosis, Mumbai, a multidisciplinary practice widely recognized for its thoughtful, user-centric, and detail-oriented approach to design. With over 2 decades of experience across architecture, interiors, and hospitality, commercial, and residential projects, he has played a key role in shaping spaces that seamlessly balance aesthetics, functionality, and sustainability. A lead accredited professional, architect Samir is known for his innovative use of materials, meticulous attention to detail, and commitment to creating meaningful spatial experiences that respond to contemporary lifestyles and evolving user needs. We are truly delighted to have you with us today, Architect Samir. Let's get started.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. Thank you for having us on this webinar. And I'm sure that there's a lot of learning that we've had over the years since we've graduated, worked, collaborated. And I think there's, a little bit of us that we can share with you guys that'll be, I think sharing and learning is always the better way ahead. Yep. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you, Architect Samir. We're so excited to have you. So, as like I've said, you worked across architecture and interiors for more than 2 decades and across so many varied project typologies and scales. So, over time, what has continued to keep design exciting and meaningful for you?
I think over the years, right? I think we finished this year, we finished 16 years of inception of Studio Osmosis. We've been working or as designers since 2001. So it's been like almost 25 years now. And I think over the years, what we've learned is that we studied in India, we worked in the US, and then we've come back to India to start our own firm. And what keeps us exciting is that, no two people experiences are the same. No two people experiences are same for every project. And we still find that we are always learning from our clients, from our site, from our project, from our contractors. There's always something new. Since we started Studio Osmosis, I think there was a choice that was given to us that either you go for a style and you're recognized for that particular style. Meaning I'll do my dance this way and I'm known for my dance. To isko bulao. But I think what we wanted to do is that everybody wants a story to be told or someone to listen to. Like, for example, if I'm designing your space, your home, your something, it has to be an extension of your personality. And it's something about the first thing is that, you know what, I can't give you this because it doesn't personify your this thing, your style or your personality, and your personality is what needs to come across. So what we do is that our ability to listen, to story tell after story listening, is what is very important. uh, we want to understand how people live, what they value, your culture, your travel experiences, your, what is that thing that you want to be as a foolproof memory that can be lasting, everlasting into your space. And I think it's about just creating beautiful spaces. It doesn't have to be over the top, but creating beautiful spaces, meaningful spaces that resonates with the end user. Uh, we feel that a home or a workplace should just encourage connection. It should not, be stressful. It should, you come home and you want to feel relaxed. You want to be in a workspace where it uplifts you to encourage more creativity and collaboration. And I think that is what we've strived for. uh, a belief that we at Studio Osmosis really believe is that, uh, I think emotion, empathy, and engagement are three things, three E's that we work with. Between Shilpa, me, and our team, there's always someone who's striking that particular balance, of engagement. Uh, I think we don't, I will be go beyond being modest and say that we are kind of a storyteller, because we want to translate human emotions into spaces, or understand your story and take it as that particular thing. So it's we value the fact that when clients come back and say that, this space feels exactly like who we are or what we are. And I think when we get that tagline, we believe that, okay, you know what, we've hit the sweet spot. Great.
True, true. Um, it's definitely your journey that has shaped Studio Osmosis philosophy of uh, designing through emotion, empathy, and engagement, like you said.
Correct.
So, speaking of contemporary interior design and projects, in so many contemporary projects today, there is a growing expectations for interiors to feel open, seamless, and naturally lit and visually connected, while at the same time still ensuring comfort, privacy, and performance. So, how would you approach balancing these seemingly contrasting requirements within your projects?
I think it's a challenge because, um, I mean, the city is growing taller and taller day by day. Footprints are getting smaller, apartments are getting taller. We are trying to go as high as possible. Everyone talks about the big view, but nobody looks at the view. When you buy that apartment or anything, that you're like, oh, I'm going to see view. But once you're in it, you don't look at the sea. So how do you really look at it? So it's uh, while the clients are looking for larger, brighter, taller spaces, which we all yearn to give, the whole idea starts from, uh, look at it from a planning perspective first. Uh, you use to see where, how people are going to move around the space and where they should eventually end up being at. If we kind of move a circulating space, we always do this thing that we learned back in college, which we realize the importance of now, which is like basic design, which is I basically finding what is the path that you want the person to take, and then you kind of put those design elements around that which engages the person to walk around or go around that area. And that happens not just in residential, it happens in commercial, large institutional spaces, hospitality. You would really design that bar to be the wow factor because you want that person to come to the bar and get that drink. So, or find that small space in the office where you can call, by the window, which is really nice, and my productivity really increases and I'm working really hard at it. So these are the elements that we really work with. Um, we like to work with, sight lines, use natural light as much as possible. Uh, because you mentioned that we are LEED certified. We are very conscious while we are working. We value the um, the importance of electricity, materiality, and how we can use these to make the spaces more open. Glass is a phenomenal element because what it does is it allows you to segregate spaces while allowing you to maintain the sight lines. And that is something very important because that's the way where the connection can happen in spite of giving segregation, as opposed to building solid walls and partitions and everything. Um, I think uh, the biggest challenge we've had is when we worked in the Lodha World Tower building, which is iconic curved facades. And I think that was very challenging for us. We've done so many projects there, and every time we go there, we try to keep that glass facade and the view as the hero. And it's we keep telling the clients, you know what, it's not the inside. Anyone who comes there is not going to look at your room. It's they're going to look outside and say, wow, this is my city, maximum city that you live in. And you see it through the glass, through the openness, and then the entire shell or the interior kind of takes space around that entire glass facade, or the glass elements and things like that.
That's wonderful. You have spoken so well about how contemporary interiors today need to negotiate between both experiential and performance-driven needs, and we are so excited to hear more about your projects. So, I want to talk about luxury in contemporary interiors today. It's being redefined through comfort, simplicity, and experience, and thoughtful detailing rather than just visual grandeur. So, how do you personally interpret and translate this idea of modern luxury within your projects?
I think first and foremost, what we need to understand that luxury to different people mean different things. Uh, for like I said earlier, our entire gamut of designing has always been story listening to the client, understanding what their sense and sensibility is. For someone, luxury means I have this, show it because I've arrived. And for someone who's, old school, uh, being luxury or rich and hence I have old money and that's why I'm rich, they don't really feel the need to really show it. They have it, and that's where it's all called the quiet luxury or anything. But then we work with a lot of people where it's not about whether you are rich or luxury does not equate to being rich. Luxury is an aspiration that every person needs to have to feel that extra comfort from where I am. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have the money. You don't need to have the money to feel luxury. Uh, I mean, I can be anyone and feel luxury. I mean, Shilpa and I often say that, in the kind of environment we are and the lifestyle that we need, what the most luxury that we love doing is just taking a walk on the beach with sand under our feet or on the grass in a lawn and feel the softness of the grass. And I think that is luxury. And these are some of the aspects which are just often neglected. So I think when we design spaces, it's luxury kind of defines from the space, the natural light, uh, keeping the space decluttered, maintaining the right proportion, clear circulation from planning, like we explained, and just kind of giving a sense of calm, which contributes to the feeling of luxury when a client comes in and sits on his sofa after a long day's work and just goes, "Ah," I think that's luxury, and not feeling like overwhelmed from a overwhelming day. So I think the modern luxury is about just creating effortless spaces. It's about getting craftsmanship back. We are losing touch on what was our culture all about, and I think getting that in a little bit in some way is always great. Being honest to material, not just complicating it, and again reiterating that we like to design around clients' lifestyle as opposed to just putting our aesthetic on top of it. So if I had to like focus and just boil down to few 4 points, it would be creating a visual continuity through restrained material palette, using texture and lighting. We love texture and light. Light is something that we really love, whether it is natural light or artificial light, and investing in quality, because you will want to make sure that the quality of the product that you use is always going to surpass anything that is mimicking quality, looking quality, but doesn't feel quality. Paying attention to detail, long lasting, and reducing the clutter. And I think if these four things are taken care of, automatically, it's not about the whether the design sense is maximal, minimal, boho, or anything like that. It's just the end user finds the comfort in experiencing the space.
True, sir. You have wonderfully given perfect design strategies that can help create spaces that feel luxurious, warm, and welcoming, even for projects with modest budgets.
Right.
These design strategies would work perfectly. I want to bring in an angle of glass in my next question for you, architect Samir. In contemporary interiors, glass is increasingly being used as partitions, spatial dividers, and connective elements rather than just windows or facades. So, how do you approach in balancing openness, natural light, and visual connectivity through glass, but while still maintaining privacy and comfort within a space?
I mean, we love glass. I mean, we tend to use glass almost most spaces. Largely, glass is an element to lighten the space, make the space feel open. Um, and it's not just about, like you said, it's not just about a facade or an opening in the wall, but we use it to connect spaces. We use it to create depth. We use it to borrow light as a reflector. But it is not about transparency, it's about adding value to the space, uh, because glass has a tendency to mold the space differently with the kind of light that falls on it. Especially when you see fluted glass, it creates a sense of transparency but allows light to filter through. That is very different from when it's a sandwich glass. That is very different when you use a glass brick. So we love to use all these elements at different places because we feel it not just creates a barrier, but it opens up the spectrum. It depends on what type of glass we use. We don't think about it, but often we use glass as a mirror because we feel that the use of mirror in spaces in Mumbai which are tight, use mirror effectively to make it look larger. In lobby areas where it feels like the spaces are just flowing endlessly. And right now we are doing a small powder bathroom where we told the client, let's just do it as a complete mirror. It's like a sheesh mahal. And we are actually having glass all around the walls with another glass. So now you're talking about color of mirrors differently used, which also gives a sense of depth. Clear glass will have more depth, color glass will have less depth. And yeah, that is how we work. We've done a hospitality project called Barcelos in Navi Mumbai, where it's a Portuguese brand and it's a very vintage Portuguese style space, and they had a lot of stained glass coming from Portugal. So we had done this entire clear story glass with different colors of glass, and when the light just during the day when the light sun just went through the space, you could see the space transforming because of the different colors of glass. Um, I think glass can be used as a simple glass dividing space, like a simple partition, to it can be created into this fabulous stained glass, like a rose art, which can become a hero. So the material can be explored from it being uh, structural, partition, aesthetic, hero. I mean, I think glass plays all that aspects beautifully.
That's great. So you've spoken about so many projects. We would actually love to see how your ideas and projects have translated into built spaces. Could you maybe take us through some of the projects you've designed recently and share how glass has helped shape the mood, the openness, and overall character of those interiors?
Yeah, sure. Let me just share my screen quickly. Can you see my screen?
Yes, yes.
All right. So I'll just recap a little bit about us. I mean, all these four questions is it's been 16 years since we started. We've done architecture, commercial, residential, healthcare, retail, hospitality, and all of these have been with the main aspect of which are our values, core values is story listening and storytelling. I think that is very important. Um, it could be our mantra, which I feel, works every time that you go through. Every project needs to be adaptable, not through now, but adaptable. It should stand the test of time, hence being timeless. Uh, Collaborative because it's not me, or we. It's about us. It's about everyone, all the stakeholders who are part of it to create that one project, which is always going to be evolving no matter what. It needs to be evolving. What was yesterday should be future proof and future ready. And these are the values that we work with. Now I'll showcase some few projects right now, and you'll see when we say it's different from a client's perspective and how we do it. For this space was extremely small, but the client wanted a space which is very young at heart, and we really wanted to take the idea of the not glass per se, but the idea of planning, which we were speaking about, and using glass as an element for decor, which you see in the lights, in the elements of design, like your the pillars that you have, which looks like glass beads, which are kept on top of each other, the fluidity of the spaces that flow into each other and create. It's not overpowering. You have few elements which have the focus on, and the rest is just kept extremely simple, keeping a lot of detail to finer aspects of detailing of furniture, aspects, how things are hidden, and materiality. So this is a Voltar apartment, classic Voltar, where you have the curved glass that you are talking about, the entire facade, and how the facade has taken the role, and we've used the curved facade in terms of the glass lighting, the light fixtures, the screens that we are using. Um, if you look at the previous image, there is you don't see it, but on the left hand side there is mirror on the wall, which makes the space look, it multiplies. You can see the reflection on the floor, on the ceiling, on the left wall. So it feels like one design element is opening into multiple spaces. Um, Again, the use of glass chandeliers, curved glass elements to conceal spaces, which works really well. Here in 25 South, we actually use the window or the opening as the hero. You can see the way the light comes through into the living room space. How uh, just keeping it simple, having elements which uh, portray the client's journey. So we worked with an artist where the art at the back describes their journey from Kolkata to Mumbai, and every aspect of their journey has been captured as a still frame and then made into a terracotta art. And the mandir on the left hand side, which is the DT space, which when opened up, you have this whole serene. As the sun sets on the right hand side, you can see the light coming on Shiva, and I think it's just creating beautiful, some elegant spaces, which makes you feel like you're part of the home. In this apartment, which is called the Modern Indian, we've used glass very effectively, where we broke down one space and used a glass screen to create a study slash entertainment slash guest room multi-purpose spaces. If you see what it does is, had it been a wall there, it would have just looked like a very typical apartment. But because of the glass and the function behind it, now it's layered. Your eyes go from the front which is your dining, to the mid, which is a study table, to the back, which is where you have the lamp. So there are layers that you are seeing as you go into the space. And I think that's the beauty of glass. It opens up the space, creates the barrier, but not, it doesn't give you a sense of boxiness. It opens up. And then there are ways to screen it. You have switchable glass films, you have shears, you have sandwich glass, which helps you to get that kind of privacy if you need it. So again, in this apartment, this is a newly done apartment where we've just played with the element of, you know, just keeping fluidity as an element which takes center stage. And that concept kind of goes through right from, screening spaces. So the fluted glass plays an element of screening the dining or the kitchen area. And we always tell her, why does our kitchen have to be hidden all the time? I mean, eventually it's all part of us whole. I mean, I remember back in the day, my mom used to cook. I used to be at the dining table and I'll be like, can I help you cut vegetables? It's like such a family thing, which
Hmm.
nowadays we have Swiggy and Zepto, thankfully, but it takes away that element. So we try to get these old vibes back in and say, अरे याद है वो हम ऐसे करते थे. And so these are some designs like how um, concepts like the water drop falling onto the ceiling. I mean, imagine a water drop and you have ripples forming in the ceiling, but the anti of it is on the floor. So it's like a topsy-turvy concept that we worked here. These are some other images of how fluid the spaces are. Kitchens where open kitchens where again where you mix with glass with shutters which can open, apartments or bungalows with massive glass, and how we can use glass sensitively with architectural overhangs so that heat gain is lesser and it gives you a thermal comfort within the spaces. Workplaces where curved glass and glass is used to define spaces, give it a very futuristic sense, like as if you're in Star Trek, like beam me up, Scotty, right there. And but glass and glass enclosures to let natural light in to make productivity or work. You feel more productive in spaces such as these, or glass which defines in a gentle way, doesn't feel very intrusive on yourself. And yeah, that's it. That's for us.
That was,
These are some of the projects I thought we'll share, which will be
yeah,
nice.
that was amazing. Very, very interesting projects architects have made. And across the projects that you've presented, glass seem to play such different roles, from creating openness, visual continuity, shaping the atmosphere and light within the space. So, how do you decide what role that glass should play within a project, depending on the typology and user experience that you want to create?
It's like I showed in all the projects, right? Glass can be, I mean, we lose, it's all starts predominantly at the concept and the planning stage. So very early on, when you're planning the project, it's all about how you want the user experience to feel. What's the feeling that they need to get? What is the story that we have to say? And then as we are doing let's say enclosures or dividers or screens or what or where, and what is the experience in that space, and then we start using glass for that particular area. I mean, I want the kitchen to get covered, but I don't want to see someone working in, hence A plus B equals C, fluted glass. Or I'm in the kitchen, and but I want a kitchen, but everything in laminate or in paint would just look too boxy. I need to use, I want glass. Ask question. I am a very messy keeper and I don't really keep things organized. Tinted glass. Answer. And okay, I'm going into a space which feels a little claustrophobic. I'm going from a big space to a really narrow space and then I'm turning around. Now you know that when you're from a big space to a narrow space, you kind of sense you kind of get claustrophobic. So if I use a mirror on this side, it feels like the whole space is opened up and it doesn't feel like a short space anymore, hence equated. So the whole sense is the spatial planning always gives us an answer of what kind of material we really want to use. I want glass, but if I want glass, what is the requirement for what is the problem and what is the solution? If we can give that, and that is what we want. Like in the office space that we just showed you, we had given the rendition to them with glass with the entire film, and they said it just feels very boxy. Let's just keep it open. I mean, I know that probably for privacy sake or for privacy purposes, they will go and cover it again with NR films, which is perfectly fine because your practicality trumps design. But if you look at the design, your fluidity doesn't have to be stopping only at the material. You've used glass in a straight form, in a bent form. You can curve it. You can do so many things with it. It's That's the whole idea of using how glass can be used.
Yes. So building on that, in one of your projects, Apartment 20, The Perfect Symphony, glass was used across partitions and transitional spaces to maintain that visual continuity while still creating subtle layers of separation and privacy. So you did mention, but maybe you could explain more in detail. So how do you decide what kind of glass application or glass finish is appropriate for different spaces within a project?
So if we have to use glass on wardrobe shutters or glass in areas where I need continuity, then we always use clear glass. If it is, if I want to make someone feel, let's say if I want to do a cozy space, like a den which is enclosed in glass, then I would use a tinted glass because you still want a little light to come down lesser into the space, but you want visual connection to the outside. One-way mirror glass so that it's sense of privacy. No one can see me inside, but I can see everyone outside. Uh, uh, Colored glass to create a sense of play. You're creating a screen, a divider, and then you use different color and texture of glass, which just enhances the way glass is used. We in fact we are using in a project in Indore, we are actually using glass bricks on the facade to which is structurally sound and but it also allows light to fall through and it gives a sense of light shadow quality that comes into the space. And we use glass a lot. We always love to combine glass with lighting inside because lighting plays a very important role of how you feel within a space. Just using glass but not giving good lighting doesn't go hand in hand. The two important aspects, the most important aspects in interior space or architecture is lighting. I mean, you'll go to a building which is well lit from the outside, you'll go, wow. The same building which is not lit, you'll say, hmm. So similarly, in a space, it's always the lighting which drives your eye and the glass on the periphery which kind of makes you feel open, doesn't make you feel boxy. So together, I think that plays an important role in how you define the choice of glass or the material that you're using, which differentiates the space really.
That is an excellent takeaway for all the students listening. But also, what would you what do you think that young designers exploring contemporary interiors today should understand about glass to create spaces that are not just visually striking but also functional, comfortable, and experiential?
I don't think they are. I think our advice would be is to not think glass as a material. You need to think glass as a spatial experience. You need to understand see for every designer or anyone, you need to understand the physical or the property of a particular material to see what you can stretch and do with. I mean, I can create a marble wall, but I can also use glass fused with marble to make it look something interesting. We have collab people who do inlay of mirror in marble, or you create or you fuse marble with clear glass to create a jali pattern. And why not? So why do you use? You don't need to see glass as so. You don't need to see a material saying that I can't use glass. You can use glass with almost everything, from a dining table top to a window to screens to you name it, and you can use it. And why not? Uh, if you actually go to this company called Glass Italia, which is an Italian company, they make furniture. Everything, every piece of furniture is made out of glass. So why not? So you don't need to think of glass as a material of afterthought. It could actually be the center of your concept, and then everything can weave around it. Glass is an amazing quality of refraction, reflection, and light transmission. And different types of glass, if used correctly, can create some amazing light shadow patterns. So glass is not to be thought about in a 2D space. It's almost like a 4D. You are thinking of glass as a single element, but the facet of the glass can change the light quality. It can create unique shadows. It can enrich a space. And I mean, we see that in daily basis, like a glass chandelier will look wow because of the shadows that it creates. A glass globe feels softer because it reminds us of the moon. And it's just, but it's the quality of the glass. So if we ask ourselves, the question is, how does it influence light? Does it affect comfort? Does it help me change movement, or does it help me to engage human interaction? If those are the things, then great. I mean, you need to use it. I mean, for most people, the best place to use glass is a mirror because everybody wants to click their own selfie.
True, sir. Very true. We're almost coming to the end of the webinar. So, as we look ahead to India 2047, which is our overarching theme for our webinar series, what role do you think glass will play in shaping the way future spaces are designed, experienced, and inhabited? Any special perspective of glass that you are looking forward to evolving in the future?
Yeah, I think 2047, I mean, the way we are moving today, I don't see very far away from, all the sci-fi movies that we've loved and watched, where everything is on glass. The display is on glass, and if you watch movies like Minority Report, and they're like touching the glass and then moving things, swiping it over here, pushing it on this side, zooming in, and looking into details, and all that is happening on glass. And I think you have glass now which have chips embedded in it, which can light up. You've seen the Burj Khalifa building where they have glass with chips inside, with a which can illuminate, which can change color. Glass with sensors inside, which can, you know, uh, take in the amount of light that is needed. And photochromatic glasses, which are, we had photochromatic glasses before, but you have photochromatic buildings. Um, Tomorrow, I mean, in the future, I don't see an apartment to have any walls. It could just be glass. Uh, your bedroom could be completely in glass. Why not? Wardrobes in glass. Why not? Toilets in glass. Why not? And if you want privacy, just press the button and it just becomes frosted and nobody sees it. But otherwise, it's just full glass. And why not? And I think it won't be far where glass can be used. Uh, Again, economics and everything plays a significant role because again, it's a byproduct of natural material. It's highly recyclable. That's the best part of it. So it's kind of sustainable, not really sustainable. But I think technology will play a very important role uh, in how we use spaces. And I think nothing like glass. And we've seen that from years on years. If we've not seen it built, we've definitely seen it movies where glass defines future. Futuristic spaces are more in glass, glossy, clean, minimal, black, transparent spaces. And I think it by 2047, I imagine more fluid, responsive spaces and high performing glasses. And you never know. I mean, with AI, imagine you have a glass enclosure which kind of senses your emotion, and the glass kind of glows in that particular light to ease your, I mean, imagine how awesome would that be.
Yes, yes, definitely looking forward to all the innovations and developments coming up, especially in the field of glass. Thank you so much, sir, for that insightful answer. And with that, we now come to the end of today's session. Thank you to architect Samir Balwali for such an insightful conversation and for taking us through your thoughtful work and design approach. After
Right.
today's discussion, what clearly emerged is how contemporary interiors today are moving beyond purely aesthetic environments towards spaces that are experiential, functional, emotionally engaging, and performance driven. We also explored how glass is no longer just a transparent material with interiors, but an active design element in shaping openness, light, privacy, spatial continuity, and overall user experience. Through the projects and perspectives shared by architect Samir today, we saw how the thoughtful use of materials can influence not just the visual language of a space, but also the way people feel, interact, and connect with it. On behalf of Glass Academy and Ethos Empowers, thank you once again, Architect Samir, for your time and sharing your insights so generously with us today.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. Thank you, Ethos, and thank you, Glass India. Thank you so much.
And to our audience, thank you for joining us and engaging throughout the session. We hope today's discussion offered fresh perspectives on the evolving role of glass within the contemporary interior design. Do stay connected with us on Instagram and LinkedIn for updates, insights, and upcoming webinars. See you all at the next Glass Academy webinar. Thank you.